Hello, welcome to the Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor with Florida Realty Investments and I live in the Villages. Every week I take a look at the real estate market here. For those who don't know about the Villages, it's a 55 plus community with 13 and counting championship golf courses, 43 and counting executive golf courses, recreation, shopping, dining, and live music in the four town squares every night of the year. We're looking at the real estate market specifically on this channel. And if you want to know what long term trends are on prices, price per square foot, how much activity there is, where the activity is in the different areas of the villages, this is the show for you. We do this every Monday. Make sure you check the date to ensure you're getting the most recent information. I'm going to give you a long term perspective on trends here in the villages, and I'm also going to break the villages down into four geographic regions and compare them in terms of activity, prices, etc. A couple of things to note. The villages is unique in that it has two separate real estate marketplaces, the VLS and the MLS. The MLS is the multiple listing service that you're familiar with from other real estate markets around the country. The VLS is the village's own internal listing service. It's the only marketplace where you'll find new homes. But if you're looking at pre owned homes, you need to look at both VLS and MLS properties, or you will not be able to see everything for sale here. Similarly, if you're selling, you need to decide whether to list on VLS or MLS. The MLS brokers generally will not show you VLS property, and the VLS agents will not show you MLS properties. All the information on the show is drawn from the MLS, and as I said, we produce this every week. If you're a buyer, please consider using our data driven approach to ensure that you're getting a good deal. And if you're a seller, we'd be happy to advise you as to the highest reasonable asking price that the current market can command. If you need to reach me, you can reach me either at davidisinflorida@gmail.com or through our website, davidisinflorida.com. So, with that out of the way, let's take a look at what's happening this week. We start every week by taking a look at the yield on the US 10-year note. The chart you see shows the yield going back about 3 years. Currently, we are at a recent low, and I'll show you what that looks like when I show you what mortgage rates are doing. Here's a chart showing you what interest rates have done over the last year, and basically they have come straight down from 8 to 6.5. I don't think this will be enough to turn things around in the real estate market. We'll have to see. But as those of you who follow the channel will know, the villages real estate market is its own unique animal, doesn't really follow the national trend as much as you would think. So now let's zoom in and take a look at the villages. I'm going to orient those of you who aren't familiar with where it is. We're going to zoom in on a map of Florida and into where the villages is located, which is central Florida, about an hour north of Orlando. These maps are showing you all current active listings in the village's MLS system. The size of the circle represents the size of the home, and the color of the circle represents its price per square foot. The larger the circle, the larger the home. The darker the circle, the less per square foot. So a large dark circle will be a large home at a low price per square foot, and a bright small circle will be a smaller home at a higher price per square foot. Keep in mind on these maps, the sizes are exaggerated. There are 5 different sizes of dot on this map. The smaller dots might be difficult to see, but they are there. I'm going to alternate between price per square foot and price on this map so that you can see that on the price per square foot map, the deals become much more readily apparent than if you're just looking at asking price. So now let's look at all listings, and we're trying to get a long-term trend to get some idea as to how many properties are being offered. This week, 484, a new high. Last week, only 480. A year ago, it was only 282. Currently, homes in the villages range from 110,000, unchanged from its original asking price, to just under 2,000,009, which has been reduced by 50,000. This is looking at all listings once again. This is the median time on the market for all listings. We're still holding at 62 days as a median. The previous week it was 63 days. A year ago it was only 48 days. Long-term trend in the median listing price per square foot for the Villages MLS listings this week, 258.41, identical to the previous week, 258.41, and down very slightly from the 259.57 of a year ago. So now let's take a look at the differences between the regions of the Villages. This is the entirety of the Villages, and I've broken it down further into four separate areas. The first I'm calling the North, which is everything south of 42 and north of 466. The Middle North is everything south of 466 and north of 466A. The Middle South is everything south of 466A and north of 44. And the South is everything south of 44. I'm going to compare these four regions, and you can get some idea where activity is and what the price differences are between the four regions. So this is the format I'm going to use to compare the regions. This is the entirety of the Villages. Smallest home available currently 828 square feet, largest 4,216. Highest price per square foot, 776, lowest 65, and prices currently in the Villages range from 110,000 to just under 2,900,000. Let's see how the different regions compare. So we'll start by taking a look at the area I've described as the North. 208 active listings this week, the most active area in the Villages. 840 square feet, the smallest house, 2562, the largest. Price per square foot ranging from 100 to almost 400, and prices in the north ranging from 120,000 to 850,000. This is the mid-north, 141 active listings, smallest home 1,090 square feet, largest 4,216, price per square foot as low as 65 and as high as 476. Prices in the mid-north range from 110,000 to 1,200,000. Here's the Mid-South, which is everything south of 466A and north of 44. Smallest home, 1,156 square feet, largest 3,875 square feet. There are 61 properties on the MLS this week in this area. Prices range from 280,000 to just about 2.9 million, and price per foot ranges from 225 to 776 a foot. And this is the South, everything south of 44, 74 active listings, ranging in size from 828 square feet to 2,075. Price per square foot ranging from 229 to 410, and prices in the South ranging from 255,000 to 795,000. So to give you an idea where these homes are located by price, I'm going to show you a map of the Villages, and we're going to look at where the homes are in each price segment. First, there is nothing this week under 100,000. This map is showing you the 11 properties that are under 200,000. 10 are in the north, one is in the mid-north. In the $200,000 to $300,000 range, 79 properties. In the $300,000 to $400,000 range, 188 properties. 400 to 500,000, 120 properties. 500 to 600,000, 45 properties. 600 to 700,000, 18 properties. 700 to 800,000, 11 properties. 800,000 to 900,000, 4 properties. 900,000 to $1,000,000, 5 properties. And these are the 9 properties that are currently priced at over $1,000,000. Let's look at a short-term perspective on how the market's doing. We're looking at the number of new listings and the number of homes going pending every week. Obviously, new listings are adding to inventory and homes going pending are reducing it. If new listings exceed pending home sales, then inventory will increase and it'll be bad for sellers. If pending home sales exceed new listings, then inventory will decline, which will be good for sellers. So this week, 43 new listings. Last week, there were 42. Homes going pending this week numbered 33. Last week, there were only 24. Last year, there were 35 new listings and 35 homes going pending, so the market was in balance. This week, we're looking at 10 more homes being listed than when pending. This is the graph that keeps track of the difference between new listings and homes going pending. As I said, this week it's a negative 10 more new listings than when pending. Last week it was a negative 18. A year ago it was even. The zero line is a market imbalance, as many new listings as homes going pending. As long as we're below this zero line, you would expect that sellers will be feeling pressure. I don't include this chart every week, but this data point is noteworthy. This is the median time on the market for the homes that went pending last week. The graph is a 4-week average. The numbers are actual data points. Last week, the median time on the market for the homes going pending was 57 days, which is very much higher than the 37 days of the previous week and twice as high as the 29 days on the market for the homes that went pending a year ago. Here we look at what the price change was for the homes that went pending last week. They saw a median reduction of 5.64%, not as bad as the 6% that was in effect for the previous week, and improved from the 5.91% that was the median price change for homes going pending the same week a year ago. Before we take a look at sales, I thought I'd give you a look at this map. Here we're looking at all active listings in the villages. But in this case, the size of the circle represents the size of the home, and the color of the circle represents the year it was built. The newer the home, the lighter the circle, the darker the circle, the older the home. Obviously, you can narrow your search down by age, price, or any other metric you desire using a tool like this. So now let's take a look at homes that closed last week, 23 of them compared to 38 the previous week and compared to 30 for the same week a year ago. Prices for the homes that closed last week ranged from 190,000, a reduction of 13% from the original 219 ask. The highest price home that closed last week was 825,000, 6% reduction from the 879,000 original asking price. And if you're wondering how sales are tracking compared to previous years, I think this graph will answer the question. We're looking at sales per week for 2022, 2023, and year-to-date 2024. Red line 2024, green line 2023, and blue line 2022. Looking at this graph, it seems evident that we're following normal seasonal trends at best. And because the number of sales has decreased, the weeks of inventory has jumped. This week, 21 weeks of inventory, which is just the number of properties listed divided by the number of sales. As I said, this week, 21 weeks of inventory. Last week, 12. A year ago, only 9. Here we keep track of the median price per square foot realized for the homes that closed the previous week. 251 was the median price last week compared to 241 for the previous week and compared to 243 for the same week a year ago. But please note this graph is a 4-week average, and even though last week seemed to be improving, the graph is still looking like it's headed lower. And this might be a warning. This is the median time on the market for the homes that closed last week. 75 days compared to 31 days the previous week and 45 days for the same week a year ago. This graph is not smooth. It is actual data points, and you can see that 75 days on the market for homes that closed is by far the worst number we've ever seen here. So let's sum it up by taking a look at all listings once again. Of the 384 listings active currently on the MLS, the median reduction is a 52.07% reduction from the original asking price. Last week it was only 52.71. A year ago it was 52.13. And finally, we're looking at what the actual decrease is. The median decrease for all active MLS listings this week is a 4.47% reduction. Last week, it was only a 4.26% reduction. And a year ago, it was only a 4.17% reduction. With the slow season upon us for the next couple of months, it's going to be hard to imagine that sellers are not going to continue to feel pressure here. If you're a buyer and you're trying to find a good deal in the villages, or you're a seller and you're trying to expose your property to the largest possible market and get as much as you possibly can for it, please consider reaching out to me, DavidisinFlorida.com or DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. I'll be happy to answer questions about the villages, real estate, or life in the villages itself. Hope to hear from you. Take care.